Did you know Elizabeth Taylor and Lana Turner each married 8 times? But did you know there are actors who married even more? These names will surprise you, but what was the reason behind their many marriages? Why couldn't they stay with one partner? Was it media pressure, personal conflict, or a publicity stunt? Let's explore the list of actors who married multiple times but failed in each marriage, along with the reasons behind them. Judy Garland. Judy Garland was married 5 times. At 19, she defied MGM studio pressures to maintain her wholesome image and married composer David Rose in 1941. The studio's disapproval and their demanding careers strained their relationship, leading to a divorce in 1944. In 1945, at the age of 23, she married director Vincente Minnelli. Their partnership was both personal and professional, resulting in the classic film Meet Me in St. Louis. They had a daughter, Liza Minnelli, who would become a star herself. Despite their successes, the stresses of Hollywood and differing personal needs led to their divorce in 1951. At 30, in 1952, Judy married her tour manager, Sidney Luft. This marriage brought 2 more children, Lorna and Joey Luft. Their relationship was passionate but tumultuous, affected by financial issues and Judy's ongoing personal struggles. After 13 years together, they divorced in 1965 as the pressures became overwhelming. Later that year, she married actor Mark Herron. Their union was brief, lasting only a few months before they separated. Incompatibility and personal differences were the main reasons for their split, with the divorce finalized in 1969. In March 1969, at 47, she married nightclub manager Mickey Deans. Tragically, just 3 months after their wedding, Judy Garland passed away, bringing an abrupt end to their brief union and her 5th marriage. Joan Collins. Just like Judy, Collins had her first marriage at just 19 years old. She married actor Maxwell Reed in 1952. At such a young age, she was swept off her feet by Reed's charm and experience. However, beneath the surface, the relationship was troubled. Reed's controlling behavior and reported abuse led Joan to seek a divorce in 1956, ending her first marriage after 4 tumultuous years. At 30, Joan married the singer-songwriter, and together they had 2 children, Tara and Alexander. Their shared careers in entertainment seemed to align perfectly. But as time passed, Anthony's infidelity and the strains of their busy lives pulled them apart. By 1970, they decided to end their marriage, each moving on to new chapters. Just a couple of years later, in 1972, she said "I do" to Ron Cass. What was different this time? Ron, an American businessman and record producer, brought a sense of stability to Joan's life. He welcomed a daughter, Katiana, adding joy to their family. Unfortunately, financial difficulties and Ron's struggles with substance abuse began to erode their relationship. After 11 years together, they divorced in 1983. Her struggle for perfect partner did not end here. She married the Swedish singer when she was 52, hoping for a fresh start. However, the marriage quickly turned sour. Clashing personalities and a contentious dynamic led to a highly publicized and bitter divorce just 2 years later, in 1987. And finally, in 2002, at the age of 68, she married Percy Gibson, who was a theater company manager for over 30 years her junior, and he seemed to be the perfect match. They are still happily married, and hopefully both will remain together till life, because after all, it is her 5th marriage. It should work. Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth was married 5 times. At 18, she married businessman Edward C. Judson in 1937, who became her manager and helped advance her early career. However, his controlling nature and their significant age difference led to their divorce in 1942. At 24, she married acclaimed actor and director Orson Welles in 1943. The couple had a daughter named Rebecca. Their marriage was strained by Welles's intense focus on his work and frequent absences, leading to their divorce in 1947. In 1949, at the age of 30, Rita married Prince Ali Khan, becoming one of the first Hollywood actresses to marry into royalty. They had a daughter, Princess Yasmin Aga Khan. Cultural differences and Ali Khan's busy social life caused friction, resulting in their divorce in 1953. Seeking stability, she married singer Dick Haymes in 1953 when she was 34. Haymes faced financial and legal issues, which added stress to their relationship. They divorced in 1955. At 39, Rita married producer James Hill in 1958. They collaborated professionally, but differing career goals and personal disagreements led to their divorce in 1961. After her fifth marriage, Rita chose to remain single until her death in 1987. Clark Gable. Richard Burton was married 5 times to 4 women. At 23, he married Sybil Williams in 1949. They met while working in the theater and had 2 daughters together. As Burton's acting career flourished, the demands of fame put a strain on their relationship, leading to their divorce in 1963 after 14 years of marriage. In 1964, at the age of 38, he married Elizabeth Taylor, sparking one of Hollywood's most famous romances. Their passionate relationship was marked by both collaboration and conflict. They divorced in 1974, but remarried in 1975. However, the reunion was short-lived, and they divorced again in 1976. Later in 1976, Burton married model Susan Hunt when he was 50. Their marriage lasted 6 years, ending in divorce in 1982 due to personal differences and evolving life goals. His final marriage was to Sally Hay, a makeup artist he married in 1983 at age 57. They remained together until his passing in 1984, marking a period of stability in his personal life. David Carradine. David Carradine's first marriage was to Donnelly Becht in 1960 when he was 24 years old. They met during his time at San Francisco State College and had a daughter named Callista. However, his burgeoning acting career and time spent apart strained their relationship. By 1968, they divorced as the distance and career demands proved too challenging. In 1977, at the age of 40, he married Linda Gilbert. They had a daughter, Kansas Carradine, born the same year. Their marriage faced difficulties due to Carradine's intense work schedule and personal issues. The couple eventually divorced in 1983, struggling to maintain their relationship amid the pressures of fame and his personal challenges. His third marriage was to Gail Jensen in 1986 when he was 49. Gail was a longtime friend and assistant. Despite their close connection, Carradine's struggles with substance abuse and legal issues created tension. They divorced in 1997 after 11 years of marriage, citing irreconcilable differences. In 1998, he married Marina Anderson. Their relationship was tumultuous, marked by personal and professional conflicts. Marina later cited incompatibility and alleged abuse as reasons for their divorce in 2001. Finally, in 2004, at the age of 67, he married Annie Bierman. They remained together until his death in 2009. Their marriage seemed to bring some stability to Carradine's later years, despite ongoing personal struggles. Henry Fonda. At 25, Henry Fonda married actress Margaret Sullivan in 1931. Their marriage was short-lived, lasting only 2 months before they separated. The intense personalities and career ambitions of both actors led to incompatibility. They divorced in 1933, realizing that their relationship worked better as friends. In 1936, he married Frances Ford Seymour, a Canadian socialite and widow. They had 2 children together, Jane and Peter Fonda, both of whom became successful actors. Despite a seemingly stable family life, Fonda's emotional distance and focus on his career caused strain. Tragically, Frances struggled with mental health issues and took her own life in 1950, deeply affecting the family. Later that year, he married Susan Blanchard, a socialite and stepdaughter of Oscar Hammerstein II. They adopted a daughter named Amy. However, Fonda's continued emotional reserve and dedication to his work created barriers. By 1956, they divorced as Susan sought a more emotionally engaged partner. In 1957, he married Italian Countess Afdera Franchetti. Their marriage introduced cultural differences and faced challenges due to Fonda's ongoing commitment to his career. They divorced in 1961, citing irreconcilable differences. Finally, in 1965, Fonda married Shirley Mae Adams, a former flight attendant. This marriage lasted until his death in 1982. Richard Burton. At 23, Richard Burton married Sybil Williams in 1949. They met while working together in the theater, and their shared passion for acting brought them close. The couple had 2 daughters, Kate and Jessica. However, as Burton's career skyrocketed, the demands of fame took a toll. His affair with Elizabeth Taylor during the filming of Cleopatra in 1962 strained his marriage beyond repair. By 1963, he and Sybil divorced after 14 years together. In 1964, at the age of 38, Burton married Elizabeth Taylor, igniting one of Hollywood's most legendary romances. Their passionate and tumultuous relationship was the talk of the town. They adopted a daughter, Maria, and starred in several films together. Despite their deep connection, their marriage was plagued by intense arguments and heavy drinking. In 1974, after a decade marked by both love and conflict, they divorced. Surprisingly, they couldn't stay apart. In 1975, Burton and Taylor remarried, hoping to rekindle their bond. Unfortunately, the same issues resurfaced, and they divorced again in 1976 after just a year. Later that year, Burton married model Susan Hunt when he was 50. Their marriage was brief and faced challenges from the start. Differences in lifestyle and Burton's ongoing personal struggles led to their divorce in 1982. In 1983, at 58, he married Sally Hay, a makeup artist he met on the set of a TV production. This marriage brought a sense of peace to his life. Sally stood by him away from the limelight, and they remained together until his death in 1984. Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper's first marriage was in 1961 when he was 25 years old. He married actress Rita Hayworth, and together they had a daughter named Marin. Their union blended 2 vibrant talents of the era. However, Hopper's unpredictable behavior and struggles with substance abuse strained their relationship. By 1969, they divorced after 8 years of marriage. In 1970, at 34, Hopper married singer Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. Their marriage was famously short-lived, lasting only 8 days. Conflicts arose quickly, reportedly due to Hopper's erratic actions, leading to an annulment. He then married actress Daria Halperin in 1972. They met while filming The Last Movie, and their shared creative interests drew them together. They had a daughter, Ruth Anna. Despite initial happiness, Hopper's ongoing personal issues caused friction. They divorced in 1976 after 4 years together. In 1989, Hopper married actress Catherine Lanassa when he was 53. They had a son named Henry. Their relationship faced challenges due to age differences and Hopper's demanding career. After 3 years, they divorced in 1992. His final marriage was to Victoria Duffy in 1996 at the age of 60. They had a daughter named Galen. Over time, their marriage deteriorated amid disputes and legal battles. In 2010, Hopper filed for divorce, but he passed away that same year before it was finalized. Ernest Borgnine. At 32, Ernest Borgnine married his first wife, Rhoda Kimmins, in 1949. They met while he was serving in the Navy during World War II. The couple had 1 daughter, Nancy. As Borgnine's acting career gained momentum, the demands of Hollywood strained their marriage. By 1958, after 9 years together, they divorced. In 1959, he married Mexican actress Katy Jurado when he was 42. Their marriage brought together 2 stars from different worlds. However, conflicting schedules and cultural differences created a divide. They divorced in 1963 after 4 years of marriage. Borgnine's third marriage was to singer Ethel Merman in 1964. The union was notoriously brief, lasting only 32 days. Personality clashes and constant arguments led to their rapid separation. Both later referred to the marriage as a regrettable episode. He married his 4th wife, Donna Rancourt, in 1965 at the age of 48. They had 3 children, Diana, Sharon, and Christopher. Despite their growing family, Borgnine's busy career kept him away from home. They divorced in 1972 after 7 years, citing the strains of time apart. In 1973, at 56, he married Tove Tresnes, a Norwegian businesswoman. This marriage proved lasting and supportive. Tove founded a successful cosmetics company, and their partnership thrived. They remained together until Borgnine's death in 2012. Stan Laurel. At 36, Stan Laurel married silent film actress Lois Nielsen in 1926. They had 2 children, one of whom tragically died as an infant. Their marriage began with promise, but suffered due to Laurel's intense work schedule and financial difficulties during the transition from silent films to talkies. By 1934, after 8 years together, they divorced. In 1935, he married Virginia Ruth Rogers when he was 45. Their relationship was turbulent, marked by frequent disagreements. The pressures of Hollywood and personal incompatibilities led to their divorce in 1937 after 2 years. Laurel's third marriage was to Vera Ivanova Shuvalova in 1938. She was a Russian singer and dancer. Their union was brief and stormy, ending in divorce in 1940 amid reports of constant conflict and misunderstandings. In an unexpected turn, he remarried his second wife, Virginia Ruth Rogers, in 1941. They hoped to resolve past issues, but old patterns resurfaced. They divorced again in 1946 after 5 more years together. At 56, he married Ida Kitaiva Raphael in 1946. This marriage brought stability and happiness to his later years. Ida stood by him through health challenges and the end of his film career. They remained together until his death in 1965. Eva Gabor. At 18, Eva Gabor married Swedish osteopath Dr. Eric Drimmer in 1937. He supported her early ambitions as she embarked on her acting career in Hollywood. However, their marriage faced challenges due to differing aspirations and the pressures of her rising fame. By 1942, they decided to divorce, seeking different paths in life. At 25, she married businessman Charles Isaacs in 1943. Their relationship blossomed initially, with both enjoying the social scene of the time. Over the years, though, their priorities began to diverge. The demands of her career and his business commitments created distance between them. They amicably divorced in 1949 after 6 years together. In 1956, at the age of 37, Eva married plastic surgeon Dr. John Williams. Despite sharing similar social circles, their marriage was short-lived. Personal differences and incompatibility became apparent early on. They parted ways in 1957, just a year after tying the knot. At 42, she found love again with aerospace executive Richard Brown in 1959. This marriage lasted longer than her previous ones, spanning 13 years. They enjoyed a glamorous lifestyle together, but eventually, their interests and goals began to differ. In 1973, they chose to divorce, concluding a significant chapter in her life. In 1973, at 54, she married Dr. Frank Jameson, another prominent figure in business. Their marriage lasted a decade, but like the others, it ended in divorce in 1983. Despite these challenges, she remained a beloved figure known for her charm and wit until her passing in 1995. Robert Culp. At 21, Robert Culp married Nancy Ashe in 1951. They began their life together as he was starting his acting career. The couple had 4 children during their 15-year marriage. However, as his fame grew, the demands of his work put a strain on their relationship. By 1966, they decided to divorce, facing the challenges of time apart and personal differences. In 1967, at the age of 37, he married actress France Nguyen. Their shared profession brought them together, and they collaborated on various projects. Despite their connection, conflicting schedules and the pressures of Hollywood life led to tension. They divorced in 1970 after 3 years of marriage. At 41, he married actress Sheila Sullivan in 1971. Their relationship seemed promising, grounded in mutual interests and an understanding of the entertainment industry. Over time, though, differences emerged, and the stresses of their careers took a toll. After a decade together, they divorced in 1981. In 1981, at 51, he married his fourth wife, Candace Faulkner. They had a daughter named Samantha. This marriage provided stability in his later years. Candace supported him both personally and professionally, and they remained together until his passing in 2010. Geraldo Rivera. At 22, Geraldo Rivera married his first wife, Linda Koblenz, in 1965. He was just beginning his career in law and journalism. Their young age and the demands of his burgeoning profession created strains in their relationship. By 1969, they divorced after 4 years, citing personal differences and growing apart. In 1971, at age 28, he married Edith Vonnegut, an artist and daughter of novelist Kurt Vonnegut. Their union blended media and art circles, but differing life priorities led to tension. Conflicting schedules and career commitments contributed to their divorce in 1975 after 4 years together. At 33, he married his third wife, Cheryl Raymond, in 1976. They welcomed a son named Gabriel. Despite efforts to build a family, Rivera's demanding career often kept him away from home. The challenges of balancing work and family life led to their divorce in 1984 after 8 years of marriage. In 1987, at 44, he married Cynthia C.C. Dyer. They had 2 daughters, Isabella and Simone. This marriage lasted 13 years, during which Rivera continued to build his media presence. Eventually, personal differences and the strains of public life caused friction. They divorced in 2000, seeking new directions. In 2003, at the age of 60, he married Erica Michelle Levy, a producer he met while working at CNBC. They have a daughter named Saul Liliana. Arlene Dahl. At 26, Arlene Dahl married actor Lex Barker in 1951. Both were rising stars, and their union attracted considerable media attention. However, their marriage was short-lived. Personal differences and conflicting career demands led to their divorce in 1952 after just 1 year together. In 1954, at age 29, she married actor Fernando Lamas. They had a son, Lorenzo Lamas, who would also become an actor. Their marriage combined 2 glamorous Hollywood careers, but tensions arose due to professional rivalries and personal disagreements. After 6 years, they divorced in 1960, each pursuing separate paths.
Yes, it's true. Because you see, this screen is flat.
Later in 1960, she married businessman Christian Holmes when she was 35. This marriage marked a shift away from the entertainment industry. Initially, they enjoyed their time together, but differing lifestyles and Holmes's business commitments created distance. They divorced in 1964 after 4 years. In 1964, she married wine importer Alexis Lichine at 39. Their shared interest in business ventures brought them together. Over time, however, personal differences in the demands of their respective careers led to separation. They parted ways in 1969 after 5 years of marriage. At 44, she married investor Roncesvalles W. Schaum in 1969. Together, they explored various business endeavors, including cosmetics and astrology. Despite their collaborative efforts, incompatibility became apparent. They divorced in 1976 after 7 years together. In 1984, at the age of 59, she married Mark Rosen, a successful perfume bottle designer. This marriage brought stability and happiness. They remained together until her passing in 2021, marking her longest and final marriage. Hedy Lamarr. At 18, Hedy Lamarr married Austrian arms dealer Friedrich Mandl in 1933. He was one of the wealthiest men in Austria, but his controlling nature and attempts to suppress her acting career made her feel trapped. By 1937, she escaped the oppressive marriage by fleeing to Paris. In 1939, at age 24, she married screenwriter Jean Markey, but their union lasted only until 1941 due to conflicting careers and personal goals. Her third marriage was to actor John Loder in 1943 when she was 29. They had 2 children but divorced in 1947, citing personal differences. At 37, she wed nightclub owner Ernest Ted Stauffer in 1951, but incompatibility led to their divorce in 1952. In 1953, at 39, she married oilman W. Howard Lee. They divorced in 1960 over financial disagreements. Her sixth and final marriage was to attorney Louis J. Boys in 1963 when she was 48. They parted ways in 1965, ending her series of marriages. Billy Bob Thornton married his first wife, Melissa Lee Gatlin, in 1978 at the age of 23. They had a daughter, Amanda, but divorced in 1980 due to incompatibility and alleged infidelity. In 1986, at 31, he wed actress Toni Lawrence, but they separated in 1988 with little public explanation. His third marriage was to actress Cinda Williams in 1990 when he was 35. They collaborated professionally but divorced in 1992 over personal differences. In 1993, at 38, he married model Pietra Dawn Cherniak. They had 2 sons but divorced in 1997 amid allegations of abuse. His high-profile marriage to Angelina Jolie began in 2000 when he was 44. Their differing lifestyles and career paths led to a divorce in 2003. Finally, in 2014 at 59, he married Connie England. They have a daughter, Bella, and remain together, marking a stable period in his personal life. Tony Curtis. At 26, Tony Curtis married actress Janet Leigh in 1951. They were a celebrated Hollywood couple with 2 daughters, Kelly and Jamie Lee Curtis. However, career pressures and Curtis's infidelities led to their divorce in 1962 after 11 years. In 1963, at 38, he married 18-year-old actress Christine Kaufman. They had 2 daughters but divorced in 1968 due to age differences and lifestyle clashes. His third marriage was to Leslie Allen in 1968 when he was 43. They had 2 sons, but the marriage ended in 1982 after growing apart. In 1984, at 59, he married Andrea Savio. They divorced in 1992 over personal differences. His 5th marriage to Lisa Deutsch in 1993 lasted only a year. Finally, in 1998, at 73, he married Jill Vandenberg, who was 42 years his junior. They remained together until his death in 2010. Rue McClanahan. Rue McClanahan married Tom Bish at 24 in 1958. They had a son but divorced in 1959 due to personal differences. That same year, she married actor Norman Hartwig at 25. Their marriage ended in 1961, as their careers diverged. In 1964, at 30, she married director Peter DeMaio. They divorced in 1971, citing incompatibility and career pressures. Her 4th marriage was to Gus Fisher in 1976 when she was 42, but they parted ways in 1979 over personal differences. In 1984, at 50, she wed Tom Keel, but the marriage lasted only a year. Finally, in 1997, at 63, she married Maura Wilson. They stayed together until her passing in 2010, marking a lasting relationship after years of searching for enduring love.
What you gonna do, bring you some more flowers? You know what I don't understand?
Rex Harrison. At 26, Rex Harrison married Colette Thomas in 1934. They had a son but divorced in 1942 due to his infidelity. In 1943, at 35, he married actress Lily Palmer. They enjoyed a successful partnership, but divorced in 1957 after his affair with actress Kay Kendall became public. He married Kay Kendall that same year at 49. She tragically died of leukemia in 1959, ending their brief marriage. In 1962, at 54, he married Rachel Roberts. Their tumultuous relationship ended in divorce in 1971 over intense personal conflicts. His 5th marriage to Elizabeth Reese Williams began in 1971, when he was 63, but ended in 1975 due to incompatibility. Finally, in 1978, at 70, he married Marcia Tinker. They remained together until his death in 1990, closing a chapter of numerous marriages marked by both passion and turmoil.
And insatiable desire.
In your wildest fantasies of money, McFly.
Richard Pryor. At 20, Richard Pryor married Patricia Price in 1960. They had a son named Richard Pryor, Jr., but the pressures of his early career and personal challenges led to their divorce in 1961, after just 1 year. In 1967, at the age of 27, he married Shelley Bonus. The couple welcomed a daughter, Elizabeth Ann. However, Pryor's escalating struggles with substance abuse and the demands of his rising fame strained their relationship. They divorced in 1969 as personal issues overshadowed their marriage. His third marriage was to model Deborah Maguire in 1977 when he was 37. Their union was brief and tumultuous, marked by Pryor's ongoing personal struggles. They parted ways in 1978 after 1 year together. In 1981, at 40, he married actress Jennifer Lee for the first time. She stood by him during significant periods of his life, but his continued battles with addiction contributed to their divorce in 1982. He married actress Flynn Belaine in 1986 at 45. They had a son named Stephen. The couple divorced in 1987, but remarried in 1990. Unfortunately, the same issues resurfaced, leading to a second divorce in 1991. In 2001, at 60, Pryor remarried Jennifer Lee. This time, she became his primary caregiver as he faced health challenges due to multiple sclerosis. They remained together until his passing in 2005. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor wasn't just a Hollywood star. She was a living legend whose personal life was as dramatic as any of her films. Married 8 times to 7 husbands, her journey through love and loss captivated the world. At just 18, Elizabeth married hotel heir Conrad Nicky Hilton Jr. in 1950. The fairy tale quickly unraveled as Hilton's heavy drinking and abusive behavior led to a painful split after only 8 months. In 1952, she found comfort with British actor Michael Wilding. Despite a peaceful start and 2 children together, their 20-year age difference and diverging careers caused them to part ways in 1957. Her third husband, producer Mike Todd, seemed to be the true love of her life. Tragically, their happiness was cut short when Todd died in a plane crash just a year after they married.
She had a virus and flew to his death in an isolated mountain valley 22 miles southwest of Grants, New Mexico.
Grief-stricken, Elizabeth turned to Eddie Fisher, her late husband's close friend. Their union in 1959 sparked scandal as Fisher left his wife, Debbie Reynolds, for Elizabeth. Under intense public scrutiny, marriage crumbled by 1964. Then came Richard Burton, the man she married twice. Their passionate and volatile relationship was marked by grand romances and equally grand arguments, fueled by alcoholism and infidelity. They divorced and remarried, only to divorce again. In 1976, she wed Senator John Warner, stepping into the world of politics. Feeling isolated and unfulfilled, she ended the marriage 6 years later, yearning for a return to the spotlight. Her final marriage was to construction worker Larry Fortensky, whom she met in rehab. Married in 1991 at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, they eventually grew apart and divorced in 1996. Mickey Rooney. Did you know that Mickey Rooney was married 8 times? At 21, he married actress Eva Gardner in 1942. Both were young stars, but their marriage lasted only a year due to their hectic careers and Rooney's infidelity. In 1944, at the age of 24, he wed Betty Jane Phillips, a beauty queen. They had 2 sons, but his gambling problems and unfaithfulness led to their divorce in 1949. That same year, he married actress Martha Vickers when he was 29. Their union was short-lived, ending in 1951 over personal differences and Rooney's ongoing financial issues. His 4th marriage was to actress Elaine Devry in 1952. They stayed together for 6 years before divorcing in 1958, citing conflicting lifestyles. In 1958, at 38, he married Barbara Ann Thomason, also known as Carolyn Mitchell. They had 4 children, but tragedy struck when she was killed in 1966. Briefly, he married Marge Lane in 1966, but they annulled the marriage after 100 days. In 1967, he married Carolyn Hockett at 47. They had 1 daughter but divorced in 1975 due to irreconcilable differences. His eighth and final marriage was to Jan Chamberlain in 1978, when he was 57. They remained married for over 3 decades, though they separated in 2012. Larry King. Larry King's matrimonial history is equally fascinating, encompassing 8 marriages to 7 women. At just 19, he married his high school sweetheart, Frida Miller, in 1952. Their parents had the union annulled within a year, believing they were too young. In 1961, at 28, he married Annette Kay, but their marriage ended in divorce that same year. They had a son, Larry Jr., whom King didn't meet until decades later. Later in 1961, he married Aline Akins, a former Playboy bunny. They divorced in 1963 but remarried in 1967, only to part ways again in 1972. They had 2 children together. Between his marriages to Akins, he was wed to Mary Frances Mickey Steuffen from 1963 to 1967. His 5th marriage was to Sharon Lepore in 1976 when he was 43. They divorced in 1983. In 1989, at 56, King married businesswoman Julie Alexander. The strain of a long-distance relationship led to their separation in 1990 and divorce in 1992. His 7th and final wife was Shawn Southwick, whom he married in 1997 at 64. They had 2 sons but filed for divorce twice, in 2010 and 2019, citing irreconcilable differences. Larry King passed away in 2021 before the divorce was finalized. Lana Turner. Lana Turner's love life was as dramatic as her films. At 19, she married bandleader Artie Shaw in 1940. Their marriage lasted just 4 months due to Shaw's controlling nature and their frequent arguments. In 1942, she married Joseph Stephen Crane at 21. They divorced in 1943 after discovering his previous divorce wasn't finalized, making their marriage invalid. They remarried later that year but divorced again in 1944, struggling with trust and stability. Her 3rd marriage was to millionaire socialite Henry J. Topping Jr. in 1948 when she was 27. Financial troubles and lifestyle differences led to their divorce in 1952. At 32, she married actor Lex Barker in 1953. The marriage ended in 1958-1957 amid allegations of abuse. In 1960, at 39, she wed Fred May, a rancher. They divorced in 1962 due to personal differences and conflicting interests. Her 6th marriage was to Robert Eaton in 1965 when she was 44. They parted ways in 1969, citing incompatibility. In 1969, she married nightclub hypnotist Ronald Dante. The marriage ended in 1972 after she accused him of financial deception. After 7 marriages, Lana Turner chose not to remarry, focusing on her career and family until her death in 1995. Her tumultuous relationships highlighted the challenges she faced in her personal life, often mirroring the intensity of her on-screen performances. Georgia Holt. Georgia Holt's personal life included multiple marriages, totaling 6 husbands over her lifetime. Her first marriage was to Armenian-American John Sarkeesian in 1946 when she was 20. They divorced in 1947 but remarried briefly in 1965, only to part ways again. In 1948, at age 22, she married actor John Southall, with whom she had a daughter, Jorgane Lapierre. This marriage ended in 1951 due to personal differences. Her 3rd husband was Joseph Harper Collins, whom she married in 1957 at 31. The marriage was brief and ended the same year. Later, in 1961, she married hotel executive Gilbert Hartman Lapierre. He adopted her daughters Cher and Jorgane, giving them his surname. They divorced in 1964 after growing apart. Her 5th marriage was to banker Hamilton T. Holt in 1970, but they divorced in 1974. Finally, she found lasting companionship with Craig Spencer, whom she partnered with from 1976 until her passing in 2022. Though they never married, their relationship spanned over 4 decades. Georgia Holt's numerous marriages reflected her search for enduring love and stability amid a life in the spotlight. Zsa Zsa Gabor. Zsa Zsa Gabor was famously married 9 times, embodying a whirlwind romantic life. Her first marriage was to Turkish diplomat Burhan Belce in 1935 when she was 18. They divorced in 1941 due to incompatible lifestyles. In 1942, at age 25, she married hotel magnate Conrad Hilton, founder of Hilton Hotels. Their union ended in 1947 over his workaholic nature and her desire for glamour. They had one daughter, Francesca Hilton. Her third husband was actor George Sanders, whom she married in 1949 at 32. They divorced in 1954, citing mutual jealousy and conflicting careers. In 1962, she wed investor Herbert Huttner, but divorced in 1966 due to differing interests. Marrying oil heir Joshua S. Cosden Jr. in 1966, the marriage lasted only a year. In 1975, at 58, she married designer Jack Ryan, but they divorced in 1976. That same year, she wed attorney Michael O'Hara. They divorced in 1983 after growing apart. In 1983, she briefly married actor Felipe de Alba, but the marriage was annulled after one day due to legal issues. Finally, in 1986, she married Frederick Prince von Anhalt, with whom she remained until her death in 2016. Zsa Zsa's numerous marriages highlighted her vivacious personality and quest for lasting love. Jennifer O'Neill. Jennifer O'Neill's marital history includes 9 marriages to 8 different men. She first married at 17 to her childhood sweetheart Dean Rossiter in 1965. They had a daughter, Amy, but divorced in 1971 due to personal differences and her rising career. In 1972, at age 24, she married advertising executive Joseph Koster, but they divorced in 1974. Her third marriage was to producer Nick DeNoia in 1975 when she was 27. They divorced a year later, citing irreconcilable differences. In 1978, she married singer-songwriter Jeff Barry. The marriage ended in 1979 due to incompatible lifestyles. That same year, she wed John Lederer, with whom she had a son, Race Michael. They divorced in 1983 after 4 years. In 1992, at 44, she married Neil Bonin, but the union lasted only a year. She then married Richard Allen Brown twice, first in 1993, divorcing in 1996, and remarrying in 1997 before divorcing again in 1999. In 1996, she also married Mervyn Sidney Luke Jr., and they have remained together since. Jennifer O'Neill's numerous marriages reflect her complex personal life, intertwined with a demanding career in Hollywood.